श्रीशक्तान्वितं ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय राधिकाय प्रियत्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त श्रीकृष्णलीलाकथने सुदर्शन् औदार्यमाधुर्यगुणास्तयुक्तं वरामरिन्द्रं पुरुषमान्तं नारायणं तं शेषानमामि। चैतन्यं भक्तशिरोमणिं च श्रीकृष्णपादाब्जविकायकनिधि चैतन्यलीलामृतसारसारं नारायणं तं सततं भजे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवाणी सत्यादेशदायिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय आचार्य सिंहरूपिणे श्रीमद्भक्तिप्रज्ञान देशमयि नामिने। अखिलचरित्राय शाश्वतपालिने जीवादुते सदादया श्रीराम प्रेमदायिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने। शिवाशवानुदेवी दैताभिभावये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दैने प्रभवे माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमाद्या श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्री गौर करुण शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्ते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये निष्ठारिणे रूपानुगविरोधापा सिद्धान्तद्वन्द्वहारिणे। नमो गौरीश्वराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बरसम्भोरे परं पूज्यायते नमः। नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगमनायते। गौरवेवामवस्तं निर्दिष्टसज्जनात्यः वैष्णवः सर्वभौमस्य जगन्नाथयते नमः। वञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महामदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नमोऽस्तुते नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश भक्तवत्सल गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी जयतं सुरपङ्गो ममारुणावती मत्सर्वं स्वपदम्बोजं राधामाधवं वृन्दारण्यं खलुदं श्रीमद्वदया सिंहासनस्थं श्रीराधश्रीलगोविन्ददेवं द्रष्टारिति सेव्यमानुस्मरामि। श्रीमन्दासरसामि त्वं शिवाय तथा स्थिता कर्षं वेणुस्वने गोपीनाथस्य स्वनः। तुलसीदेव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्णा भक्तिप्रदे सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। भजतजन्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्त Sakyam Brahma Shaktikam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Jai Shri Guru. What's left in that song? Just repeat whatever. If it's not in your book, you just repeat it. You can hum in the same tone. Jayo Jayo Shri Guru Premaka Pataru Shri सुन्याची सर्वमुखे बोले सारजा. See, this song is called Sri Rupanugatya Mahatmya, the glories of being Rupanuga.
33 in the yellow one. 33.
Just let him know this.
सुनियाचे साधु मुखे बोले सर्व जहान सुनियाचे साधु मुखे बोले सर्व जहान सुनियाचे साधु मुखे बोले सर्व जहान Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, oh Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I have heard from the lips of sadhus. They tell to everyone, so if you will attain the mercy of Rupa Goswami, then you can attain the service of the divine couple. Ha ha, Prabhu Sanatan, oh Sanatan Goswami Pad, and all your spiritual family members, Gaura Paribar, all together, sprinkle your mercy upon me and fulfill my desire. I only want to attain the mercy of Rupa Goswami. One who takes shelter of the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami is surely Mahashai, a great personality. Oh, when will my Guru Pada Padma Lokanath Das Goswami internally bring me to the lotus feet and offer me at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Manjari? And when will that day come? When I am serving the divine couple under the guidance of the Namasakis, Priya Namasakis, and they will rebuke me and chastise me if I make any small mistake. When will I get the nectar of their chastisement? Their guidance. Narmasaki Goni. Narmasaki means the Manjaris, maids and Sabranik. Lalitadi Saki Gan, Nana Rage Gai, Priya Narmasaki Deta, Chamradulai. It means Vishaka and her friends, they are singing various ragas during the arti of Radha Krishna. And the maid servants, Priyanama Sakhi Jata, Chamara, light, they are fanning the divine couple with chamaras. So we can see how Srila Narottam Das Thakur, his heart is completely focused on the attainment of one thing, the mercy of Sri Rupa Goswami and the Anugatya of Sri Rupa Manjari. And he's praying to everyone that they'll bless him to become successful in attaining this. Hari Bol Bol Madan Mohan.
We will repeat.
We will hum.
Can you repeat? It's very easy.
Yeah. If you have a newer songbook that has a song in it, then you can share with maybe 3 others. Sri Madan Mohan Ji ki jai! Oh, Hari Bol Bol Madan Mohan, oh, Hari
describing the life of the Vaishnava who has entered in Raga Marg. They have no time, they have no inclination for anything at all. Only they have become mad for Krishna. Hari Bogo Ar Madan Mohan, Hari Bogo E Rupe Brajerapate Chalabogo. When will I simply wander on the paths of Braja? No, not in between the 10-story buildings with the cars and rickshaws and everything. Be in the forest. When?
when Gopkumar came to Dwarka, he went through all the levels of the universe, all the levels of the spiritual world, and came up to Dwarka. At that time, Narad told him, don't stay here. Go back to the earth in the material universe. And there, on that earth is Brajamanda. It will be more favorable for you to be on Brajamanda in earth than to be in the spiritual sky. Why? Narad Rishi told him. Tatra vudpadyate dainyam tat prema sada satam tat tat shunyam ivaranyam saringiradya pasyata. It means when the devotee wanders through the forest of Brajamanda and sees Ivaranyam, the trees, Saringiradi, the lakes, the Jamuna, and the hills, Tatat Shunyam, but Krishna and his associates are not there. So he begins to weep. Where is Krishna? Where are the Brajavasis? Everything is empty without them. So Tatra Vutpadyate Dainyam, he becomes overwhelmed with Dainya Bhav, great humility. And he feels separation, seeing the trees, the lakes and the hills of Braja. Tat prema sada satam. And as his humility increases, his love increases. So, to be in Braja is, for those who are in Raga Marg, great inspiration in their bhajan. In Utkali Kavalli Rupa Goswami said, in the first verse, Prapadya Vrindavanam Ekamadhya, Prapadya Vrindavana Ekamadhya. I am completely taking shelter of this Vrindavan. Oh Vrindavan, be merciful to me. Prapadya Vrindavana Madhyameka, Krosanas of Utkalika Kolatama. My heart is overwhelmed. Akula, very, very disturbed, very distressed, perturbed, in separation. Vrindavan, be kind to me. We are discussing Manah-siksa. So the first verse of Manah-siksa, Srila Raghunatha Goswami said, Guro Goshte Gostalaisu Sujanebu Suragane Samantre Sri Namni Brajanavayuva Dwandva Sharne Sadadam Bam Hitva Kururatima Purvam Matitaram Ai Swanta Bratas Chatubhi Raviyache Dhitapada. He's given up trying to fight with the mind. You cannot defeat your mind. Mind means Maya. The entire power of Maya is there in your mind. How will you fight? So, in a humble mood, not trying to give instruction to anyone else, only to his own mind. He's saying, Ai Brata, oh my dear brother, my dear mind, You are my brother because we are both born on the same day, from the same mother, so we are brothers. So brothers, they should care for each other. They should not quarrel. So my dear brother, my mind, I don't want to quarrel with you. But rather, abhyache dritapada, I am falling at your feet and holding your feet. Chatubir, and with very sweet words of flattery. Chatuvakya. Chatuvakya means once there was a jackal and he saw some dead animal in the forest, mouse, little creature, and he wanted to eat. But before he could eat, one crow came down and picked it up and was sitting in the tree. So then the jackal, he said to the crow, "Oh crow, your feathers are so black, so shiny and beautiful. If your feathers are so beautiful, I cannot imagine how sweet is your singing voice." So the crow thought, he became puffed up. This is the symptom of a fool, that they become happy hearing their own glories. So the crow was foolish, and he became happy. He thought, "Oh, you want to hear my sweet singing?" Of course. And when he opened his mouth to sing, then the food dropped out and the jackal took it. So this is called Chatuvakya. Flattering words. Cunning words. So, Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, "Oh my dear brother mind, I am holding your feet and speaking very sweet words. Please, 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 do something. Sada dambam hitva, give up all duplicity." Duplicity. What is duplicity? It means you are doing sadhana, but you also do, speak and think about something else. This is duplicity. Sadhana means kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhavasa sadhana bida nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam ridi sadyata. The engagement of all the senses in the angas of bhakti for the explicit purpose of attaining sadhya bhav, the mood of which is your goal. By sadhana, the potential of sadhana is nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam ridi sadyata. You cannot create this bhav. Like a yogi, his breathing, by force he slows it down until it stops. So his goal, intermediate goal, is to stop the breathing, and he does it in increments by slowing it down. So you cannot have a little bit of bhav and a bit more, and then you have the perfect bhav. You cannot create it. Understand? Your sadhana doesn't create it. Your sadhana only makes a space, like a begging bowl, for it to come. Because your senses, all body, mind, senses, everything, they are of the three gunas. But when we become engaged in hearing and chanting, under the guidance of our Gurudev, now we start to come under the shelter of Swarup Shakti. Gradually, the Swarup Shakti, just like when you put iron in a fire, the iron becomes hotter and hotter until it takes on the exact quality of fire. It becomes red, and if it will touch anything, it will burn. So keeping your mind and senses in constant contact with bhakti, then gradually, your material mind and senses become infused with the vritti of Swarup Shakti. That is called sadhana. when the mind is infused with the vritti of Swarup Shakti, then, though it was impossible for you to conceive of Atashi Krishna Namadi Nabhavad Gramindre, you cannot imagine what is Krishna's name even, or to speak of his form or qualities. In pastimes, impossible. But once the mind becomes infused with the vritti of Swarup Shakti, now all these things begin to appear, like a great miracle. At first, they don't mix. The mind is there, and the vritti of Swarup Shakti is coming, and sometimes you experience, sometimes not. Because the two are not mixing. In where? In ruchi, in asakti. But bhav is when the chitta melts. Ruchi vis chitta masanya. At that time, the essence of Swarup Shakti manifests in the chitta of that living entity. And now his chitta and Swarup Shakti have become one. Just like there's the example is given in Shastra of sulfur and another chemical. I don't remember the name of the chemical. Two chemicals. If you put them together, they don't mix. But if you rub them again and again, then suddenly they blend and they become the carilium for the eyes. So it is like this. At first, some realization is coming by the influence of sadhana in the stage of ruchi and asakti. But until the stage of bhav comes, then the vritti of the mind and the vritti of Swarup Shakti, they have not become one yet. Ruchi bisthita lasanya. Understand? And so this Manah-siksa is for the devotee who has entered into Ragamarg in the stage of ruchi, Madhyamadikaya, and he's doing a very intense sadhana to attain bhav. So on the one hand, he has some realization, but on the other hand, because the material mind has not been completely melted, the chitta has not been completely melted by the appearance of bhav, therefore some harmful effects are still lingering in the mind, and there's still some danger. You see? And this is why you find in the Manah-siksa, on the one hand, oh my dear mind, please engage in the service of the divine couple, and at the same time give up pride, give up duplicity, give up the desire for pratishtha, give up mundane talk and all of these things. Why? Because though realization is coming, simultaneously there's still the lingering possibility that the material mind may do some mischief or harm in the devotee's life. And so the mind should be pacified by the sweet words of this Manah-siksa. Understand? The meaning of Manah-siksa. Huh?
Does mind in this context mean also ahankar chitta, the whole thing?
So, he's saying sada dambam mitva, give up all duplicity, that is, don't do anything except for sadhana. Nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatim raji sadyata, by which the eternally perfect mood of Brijvasis will come and fill my heart, it will become my mood. Braja gopi bhav hoibe swabhav anubhava narohibe. Understand? When will the mood of the eternal associates be my nature and I won't have any other mood at all? So, in this first verse, two things are there. Give up your damba, your duplicity, and that's the negative side. Nivriti atmaka chastarup, and pravriti, and apurava matitaram. Oh my dear mind, develop apurva rati, unprecedented rati, deep loving attachment for the following. Guru goste gostale su sujanebu suragane. Some mantra is, and then there's a list that he's requesting his mind. Develop unprecedented, never heard of, never seen before. You have no experience of this. Wonderful, wonderful, deep love and attachment for first Guru, means for Gurudev, for your spiritual master. I have one friend. He took initiation from one great Mahatma, Ananda Das Babaji. Ananda. And he gave him Diksha Mantra. And then when his Diksha initiation was completed, he said, Gurudev, aren't you going to give me Siddha Pranali, tell me your Siddha form? Not his own Siddha, this Guru's Siddha form. Aren't you going to tell me your Siddha form? His Gurudev said, what's wrong with the form that just saved you? The Siddha form did not save you. And then he sent him away. So, don't have a material conception in regard to the Guru's form as a sadhak. He's a siddha, but playing the role of a practicing devotee in this world. Don't neglect this form. Gurudev is cold, Gurudev is thirsty, and you're thinking, oh, I am serving my Guru Rupa Sakhi. Don't. Try to have deep attachment and serve the form of Gurudev you can see. This is Guru Rupa Krishna Kripa Karin Bhakta Gani. Krishna himself has assumed this form, the form of Guru that you can see, has come to you to give you an opportunity to surrender and be fully engaged in Krishna's service. To chastise, by chastisement remove the attachments from the heart and give some instruction, some service, which will be like a great test, like going through a fire. But by this fire one becomes purified and prepared. The first 20 angas of bhakti are called Pravesh Dwara, the door to bhakti. So Guru Pada Shrai Diksha Guru Rasevan, to take shelter of Guru, to receive Diksha, to render service to the Guru, to inquire about Saddharma, the eternal spiritual path, and to follow in the footsteps of previous acharyas like this. The first 20 angas of bhakti, they're called Pravesh Dwara, the door to enter into bhakti. And therefore, when bhakti appears, pure bhakti appears, then these first 20 angas become gona, they become secondary. And that is why it is said, the most powerful angas of bhakti are sadhu sangha, nama, kirtan, bhagavatam. Associating with sadhus, doing nam sankirtan, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, residing in the holy place, and serving the deity with faith. These are the 5 most powerful angas of bhakti. But to enter, to prepare us, to free us from the covering of anartha, so we can actually begin a true sadhana, not a sadhana abhas. Who will engage us in such a way to accumulate our sukriti, to make our sanskar very thick, that we can enter into pure bhakti, who will give us shelter and guidance and protection from our wayward mind and senses and all the dangers of the world. This is the first stage. So one should be very much attached to the service of Gurudev. And by this, just like if you're fallen in a well, someone lowers a rope, You have to hold the rope very tightly and they will pull you out. If they pull the rope but you're not holding on, you'll still be in the bottom of the well. So you have to hold very tightly. And Guru's mercy will lift you out from this world. So both things are there. Your effort, your sadhana, and Guru's kripa. Guru's kripa means Krishna's kripa, Krishna's mercy, coming to us in the form of Shri Guru. So when your internal life begins, then the Guru Seva, all these things, it becomes Gona, secondary. But it's not that one has given up Guru Seva. But rather, now one begins to understand, really, the internal, I don't want to say the spiritual identity of Guru, because what we are seeing is his spiritual identity, one aspect of it. But his form, as an associate of Radha Krishna, one begins to realize this. So the devotee should pray, all devotees every day, they should pray to their Gurudev. Tvam gopika vrisha ravesthanayanti kesi sevadikani guroni japadapatni dasyam pradaya kurumam brajakarne sri radangri sevana se sukinim sukhamdo. All disciples should pray in this way. Tvam gopika vrisha ravesthanayanti kesi. Oh Gurudev, you are very close to the daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj. Sevadikani Guroni Japada Padme. And you can give the eligibility, the qualification to serve Radharani. Jasyam Pradaya Kurumam. So please bestow upon me the opportunity of Radha Dasyam, the service of Srimati Radhika. Brajakana Nesri, in the forests of Braja. Radang Risevana Rasai Sukining Sukabdo, and immerse me in the ocean of the joy of service to Radhika. So the devotees, after their Diksha, then they should pray to their Gurudev like this every day, and one day they will realize it. So, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, Guru, go stay, oh my dear mind, have deep attachment to Gurudev. Srimati Radharani herself has sent Gurudev to me to bring me to her lotus feet. One should have such Shraddha. Vishrambena Guru Seva, serving Gurudev with Vishramba, means with mamata, possessiveness. Oh Gurudev, you are mine, I am yours. And Vishrambena means Vishesh Shraddha, with intense faith. That, oh Gurudev, by my eyes, by my mind, I cannot see your Parikar Surup. I cannot experience these things. All are beyond my mind and senses. But by the Achintya Shakti, the inconceivable power of Krishna's mercy, you, who are so dear to Radha and Krishna, have come before me in a form which is intelligible to my senses, to a certain degree. This is a great miracle. This is Guru Tattva. Especially to give me a chance to engage in Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Uttama, transcendental devotion. Bhakti is Krishna Anushilanam. It is either directly for Krishna or it's in connection with Krishna. So the conditioned souls cannot directly serve Krishna. So the only way they can do bhakti is to engage in the activity which is in connection with Krishna. And that is facilitated by serving a person who is in connection with Krishna. And in this way, by being engaged in hearing, chanting and remembering under the guidance of a person who is related to Krishna, now your activities become Krishna Anushilana. Otherwise, no. So Raghunath Das Goswami's first request is, my dear mind, please develop unprecedented attachment for Gurudev. Then Guru Goshte, have intense attachment for Goshta, means the holy Dham, Rajamandal. So we mentioned how Narad, he told Gop Kumar, better than being in Dwarka in the spiritual world, better to be on earth in Braj. The trees, the hills, the Jamuna, Giraj Govardhan, all of these places, they have immense Shakti to awaken realization of Krishna. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad said that the Shalagram Shila is not a form of God. Yes, write it down. Don't doubt. Shalagram Shila is not a form of God. Why? Because God has no lila as a pebble. Have you seen any lila when Supreme Lord comes to this world? And yada yada hidharmasya glanidva as a pebble. Huh? No arms, no legs, no eyes. No. So, he said Shalagram Shila is not a form of God. Shalagram Shila is called Bhagavad Akar Adhishthan. Bhagavad Akar Adhishthan. Akar means form. And Adhishthan means the place. The place of the form of Bhagavan, the manifestation place of the form of Bhagavan is called Bhagavad Akar Adhisthana. The place where the form of Bhagavan is manifested. So, that means, as Krishna described to Uddhav in the 11th canto, Labdva Anugra Acharyat Taina Sandashita Agamaha Mahan Purusha Abhyachan Murtyabhi Matayat Manaha. This verse is very important. It's in the beginning of Bhakti Sandarbha. It says, Labdva Nugra Acharyat. First, a living entity has to receive the anugraha, the mercy of the Acharya, in the form of Taina Sangdashita Agamaha, learning the ritualistic formulas or the process of Archan, how to worship the deity. And the Acharya teaches him how to perform the process of Archan, worship, to Mahan Purush, to a form of God. But it says here, Murtya Abhimatayat Mana, and that will be that form according to the Abhiman of the devotee, according to the conception of the devotee. You see? So, Srila Jiva Goswami Pad said that this is especially referring to the worship of Shalagram. Why? Because if there's actually a Vigraha, a deity of Lord Ram, then this is Lord Ram. You should not worship it as Jagannath or Krishna or. But when you have Shalagram Shila, then you can worship that Shila according to the instructions of your Guru and think, oh, this is Krishna or this is Gopal, this is whatever your mood is. You can worship Murtya Abhimata Apana according to Abhiman, and then because the Shila is Bhagavad Aka Adhishtanam, the form of the Supreme Lord who corresponds to your Abhiman will manifest in that Shila, and therefore it's called Bhagavad Aka Adhishtanam. Understand? Yeah. So the reason I'm saying this is, first, feel in your heart the power of the Shila. The Shila Or Govardhan Shila, also Krishna, whether it's a round pebble or a square pebble, Krishna has no lila as pebbles. So Shila is Shila, it is Bhagavad Aka Adhisthanam. That means if you worship that Shila, then according to your Abhiman, then the Lord will manifest there according to Abhiman. Understand? Very beautiful. So, just think for a moment, ponder the mercy of this, of the Lord in the form of the Shalagram Shila, wherein He manifests to you His form, because Shalagram Shila is Bhagavad Aka Adhisthanam. Just think of that, deliberate on that for a moment.
Can you say that again?
Bhagavad Aka Adhisthanam.
The point you are making.
Yes, just contemplate for a moment the immense power of the Shalagram Shila, that according to Abhiman, Lord will manifest there. Just think of it for a moment. Now, consider this. Srila Jiva Goswami said, Goshta, the Dham, is called Maha Bhagavad Aka Adhisthanam. In other words, the whole Dham is the greatest, most powerful place wherein, if you worship the Dham according to Abhiman, then the Lord will manifest there to you. And so, Guru Goshte, oh my dear mind, develop unprecedented attachment for the holy Dham, because this Dham has the astonishing power that those who worship Raj Mandal, why do we walk around 168 square miles, all the 12 forests, every year for 1 month, walking everywhere? Why? This is our worship of the Dham, Braj Dham, Goshta. And by honoring and worshipping the Dham, then according to Abhiman, Abhiman is Radhikara Dasi Yadi Hoya Abhiman Shigra Malaitava Gokula Khan. With this self-identity, then the Dham is so powerful, the divine couple will manifest. So this is Raghunath Das Goswami's first instruction. Guru, Goshte, then Goshta Laishu. Oh my dear mind, please give up all duplicity and have unprecedented attachment for the eternal associates of Radha and Krishna. For Madhi Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, Madhu Mangal, Purnamasi Devi, Kundalata, Lalita, Vishaka, the cows, everyone, all those who are the repositories of Ragatamic Bhakti, perfect eternal love for Sri Krishna, who are all so dear to Him. Oh my dear mind, love them. Yatkin chit nagul makirkate makam goste samastam itat sarvananda mayam mukunda dayatam lila anukulam param shastra eva muhu muhu sputamidam nistankitam yatsne brahma dera pisatspriyema taridam sarvam maya vandite. Raghunath Das Goswami, in his Braj Vilastava, he said, oh, I am praying to every tree, every leaf and creeper, every blade of grass and every insect of Brajamanda. Please be merciful to me. You are all Anandamoy, made of eternal joy. And you are all Leela Anukul. You are all rendering a favorable service to the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Great personalities like Uddhav and Brahma have prayed and wept again and again just to be a blade of grass or a stone in Brajamanda. So all of Braj, what to speak of the human beings, even the insects. We are praying in a very humble mood to all of them, with great attachment. Guru, Goshte, Gostaleshu. Gostaleshu means actual Brajbasis. those who are the associates of Radha Krishna in their lila, and those Brajbasis who appear in this world as in the forms of devotees, such as Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, have attachment to them. Here, Gosdalishu means to the Mahabhagavata, the great, great devotees in the Lila, Krishna Lila, and in Gaur Lila, and who are coming in our parampara, all of them. And it also includes the Mahabhagavatas, the high level of Vaishnavas who are living in the Dham today, have attachment for all of them. They're all Gosdalishu. Gosdalishu means Brajbasis, but those who are transcendentally residing in Braj. Not every Brajbasi. Not every Brajbasi who is chewing pan, smoking cigarette,
cheating,
and yes, all these things. It does not mean be attached to them. If you be attached to them thinking they are Brajbasis, consciousness will go down and you will be cheated. This Gosdalishu refers only to Uttam Adhikari Mahabhagavatas of the past and the present and the future, who will come in the future. All Uttam Adhikari. So Guru Goste Gosdalaisu Sujane. Sujan means Madhyamadhikari. Sujan really means Vaishnavas of the other Sampradayas. I asked my Gurudev, in the commentary on this verse, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Sujan refers to the Vaishnavas of other Sampradayas, but he's also said it refers to the Madhyamadhikari. He said, and my Gurudev said, yes, the Uttam Adhikaris of the other Sampradayas are like a Madhyams in our Sampradaya. So it means pure Vaishnavas of other Sampradayas. There's a very deep mystery in this. Because the Parakya Bhav of Braja is only given by the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami. In the other lines, so they develop love for Radha and Krishna and enter into their lila. They do not enter into the same prakash that Gaudiyas are going. Which is the Antarmanda, or the innermost secret chamber of Krishna Lila. I want to give some examples. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, when he's speaking, Sujane, have attachment for the Vaishnavas of other Sampradayas. He is remembering Vitthalanatha, Vittalacarya, the son of Vallabhacharya, because they were very close. In Braj, the one branch of the Madhva Sampradaya, that is our Gaudiya line, became absorbed in the service of Radha and Krishna. A branch of Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, whose Ishtadev is Lakshmi Nrsimhadev, became absorbed in the service of Radha Krishna. That is Vallabh Sampradaya. Or a branch of the Nimbarka Sampradaya, whose Ishtadev is Rukmini Dwakadish, became absorbed in the service of Radha Krishna. And it became the Nimbarka Sampradaya as it is in Braja. So in other words, at the time of Mahaprabhu and the Goswamis, whatever Sampradaya was there, by the power of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy and the power of Brajdam, they all became enchanted by Krishna's Brajalila and Gopis of Vrindavan. And each one, their tradition developed with some specialities in different ways. Our Goswamis only wrote in Sanskrit. But in other Sampradayas, they wrote many poems and shastras in Braja Bhasha, the local language of Braja. And the rasa which came out from each Sampradaya was a consequence of their Vedanta philosophy. So because our Vedanta philosophy is Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, So a rasa which is founded on the basis of the Vichincha Veda Veda Tattva came in our line. In the Vallabh Sampradaya, their Vedanta is Shuddha Advaita. So a rasa which is grew out of that Vedanta came in their line. We'll try to give some, the subject is very deep, it will take the whole week. Then I'll not be able to finish the first line of Manah-siksa. You know, before the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu's Param Gurudev, Srila Madhavendra Puri, he came to Braja and he was staying at Govardhan and chanting Harinam day and night in great bliss. And one boy approached him. I said, "Oh Baba, the ladies in the village, they're watching you. They told me you're fasting, you have not eaten anything, you're not even doing bhiksha. But in my village, no one fasts. So I bought you some milk. Take this." And then the boy went away. Then Madhavendra Puri, by the influence of Yogamaya, sleep came to him. Not like you, sleeping when you chant japa. Tiredness cannot come to him, and when he is chanting at all. By the influence of Yogamaya, and in his dream, he saw Krishna. And he recognized that boy who came to me, it was Krishna. Just see the power of Yogamaya. He's chanting Hare Krishna and remembering Krishna all day and night. When Krishna comes to him, by Yogamaya he cannot think, "Oh boy, put some milk." And in his dream he saw that it was Krishna who had come. And he said, "I am very uncomfortable. I am itching and hot in the bushes here. Please help me come out and cool me down with Abhishek." And Madhavendra Puri came out from his dream, his spiritual dream. I said, "Oh, Krishna came, I did not recognize him." And he took that milk. And it was like nectar. He thought, "I have to find him." He called some villagers, "Please bring some tools." And they came to the place at Govardhan which Krishna had pointed to him in his dream. And they began to dig there and cut the undergrowth. And there they found the beautiful form of Srinathji, Gopal, our Gopal. Now he's called Srinathji. They found the beautiful form of Gopal. And together they lifted him and put him on a big stone on the top of Govardhan. And Madhavendra Puri did Abhishek along with all the villagers. And they did Anukut Mahotsav. And all the villagers, they bought hundreds of preparations and put it all over the hill. And Madhavendra Puri saw how Krishna was accepting it all. But transcendentally it was still present. And then they distributed Mahaprasad, which has the power to give Krishna Prem. And then, when the news spread what had happened, all the villagers in Braj Mandal, they all wanted to do Anukut. So they made a schedule, a calendar. And every day, a different village came with hundreds of preparations and offered to Gopal. Every day they did Anukut Mahotsav for a few months. And then, Sri Gopal, he said to Madhavendra Puri, "I am still feeling hot. Please bring me some sandalwood from South India, Malaya Chandan." So Madhavendra Puri was very old. And he went walking on foot all the way to South India. When he came on the way to Puri, he came to Ramuna. And there he had the darshan of Gopinath. And in the middle of the night he was sitting chanting. And the Pujari said, "Are you Madhavendra Puri? Where is Madhavendra Puri?" "Yes, I'm Madhavendra Puri." "So you are the most fortunate person in the whole world." Why? Because every day we offer so many pots of kheer to Gopinath, and then we take them and we distribute the prasadam. But today Gopinath, he stole one of the pots and put it under his cloth, so we didn't take it away. And in the night he came to me in a dream and said, "I have stolen one pot of kheer. It is for my devotee Madhavendra Puri. Please give it to him." And then he gave him the pot. Actually in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we said, Krishna said to Madhavendra Puri, "Toma prema vasi kori seva angikare darshana diya nistaribo sakala sangsara." Srinathji said to Madhavendra Puri, "I have come here to accept your service because I am controlled by your love. And by giving my darshan, I will liberate, I will deliver the whole world." So it was Madhavendra Puri's love who caused Gopal to appear. And as a consequence, now everyone will see Gopal and they all are liberated from this world. Now the deity of Gopal is in Nathdwara, and he is called Sri Nathji, and he is being served by the Vallabh Sampradaya. And he is the Ishtadev of their whole Sampradaya. But he appeared in this world because of our Madhavendra Puri. So we have a very close connection with the Vallabh Sampradaya. So, when Madhavendra Puri was in Ramuna, being controlled by the love of Madhavendra Puri, Gopinath deity there did this pastime of stealing kheer for him. So then Madhavendra Puri thought, "Oh no, I can't stay here any longer, because the Pujari will tell everyone what happened, and then everyone will come and give me honor. And if everyone is respecting me, oh, then I will become proud, and how will I do bhajan?" And he ran away. He is running away from pratishtha, from reputation, name and fame. But anyway, to this day, the name and fame is following him everywhere. So Vaishnavas, they don't go out of their way to begging for pratishtha, for the respect of others. They are running away and hiding. But anyway, Krishna makes a transcendental pratishtha, a spiritual reputation, a spiritual respect in the hearts of people. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, "Oh, you are doing Nirjan Bhajan, but actually you are not qualified. You are only imitating the high level of devotees for your pratishtha. But your pratishtha smells like the stool of a hog." It is not like the pratishtha of Madhavendra Puri, which is a transcendental fame, which is manifested by Krishna to deliver all the living entities, because when the living entities remember and speak the qualities of Madhavendra Puri, their love comes in their heart. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is saying, Madhavendra Puri bhava gahi nahi churi. Madhavendra Puri never committed theft in the storehouse of his own ecstatic emotions. In other words, those who will, for pratishtha, or tell whatever internal realization may be coming, or they have no realization and they are pretending, then, though they are on the path of bhakti, which is a great treasure, they are stealing from their own storehouse of treasure. So Madhavendra Puri was not like this. Madhavendra Puri bhava gari nahi churi. He never committed theft of his own treasure by acting in a material way and being pratishtha bhikshu, the beggar of fame. and respect from others. So Madhavendra Puri left Ramuna and he continued south and he came to Jagannath Puri. And there the king supplied him with chandan, a large piece of chandan, and some servants. And also they gave him a pass, a letter that he could, because in those days you could not transport things from state to state without paying tax. So in this way he could return, and on his way back he came to Ramuna, again, to Gopinath. But he was very old. And Gopinath told him, you don't have to carry all this sandalwood back to Braja. You give this sandalwood to me. Actually it was his Gopal in Govardhan told him, oh, I am Gopinath. So you are there with Gopinath, you just give all the sandalwood paste to Gopinath and you have given it to me. I will be cool. I will be cooled by that sandal. So then every day it was a huge amount. Madhavendra Puri was grinding the sandalwood and covering Gopinath. And Gopal in Govardhan, he was feeling cool from this. So because it took a long time to do this, so Madhavendra Puri, he did not arrive back in Braja. And his samadhi is there in Ramuna. Yeah? His samadhi is there in Ramuna. This is the love of the Madhavendra Puri and Gopal. So what happened? Before Madhavendra Puri left Braj to go, in his old age, just to please Gopal, he left 2 devotees from Bengal as the pujaris of Gopal at Govardhan. And because he became old and he did not return. And then these 2 pujaris, they also became old and they passed away. So at that time, Raghunath Das Goswami was a very prominent Gaudiya Vaishnava in Braja. So in Bhakti Ratnakar, it is said, Sri Das Goswami Adi Paramashikari, Sri Vitale Koila Seva Adhikari. Raghunath Das Goswami deliberated very deeply and he decided to give the service of Gopal to Vitthalanatha, the son of Vallabhacharya. And so it was from that day that the service of Gopal was in the Vallabh Sampradaya. Because actually, though Madhavendra Puri established Gopal on the top of the hill, his grand disciple Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told his followers, don't walk on Govardhan. So the later followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how could they do the service of Gopal? Because they were forbidden now to walk on the hill. And so Raghunath Das, when the 2 pujaris that had been appointed by Madhavendra Puri passed away, he decided to give the service to Vitthalanath, the son of Vallabhacharya. He was the second son of Vallabhacharya. He was very rasik and a very great Vaishnava. So Vittalacharya has written a poem, Kripayati Adi Radha Badita Sesha Badha Kima Paravavashishtam Pushti Maryada Yorme Yadi Vadati Chakinchit Smeraha Sudita Sri Dvijavaramani Pankta Mukti Sukta Tadakim. Oh, if only Radharani will give a little mercy to me, then all of the obstacles on the path of my spiritual life will be vanquished. And whatever could be possibly achieved, Pushti Maryada, on the path of Maryada Vaidi or Pushti Raganuga. In their Sampradaya they call Vaidi Bhakti Maryada Marg and Raganuga Bhakti Pushti Marg. Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu was quoted Vallabhacharya, saying that Raganuga Bhakti is also called Pushti Marg, the path of nourishment. Because anyone cannot enter into this path without being nourished by the mercy of a Rasik Vaishnava. And by your own strength and effort, it cannot be done. When we're nourished by the association, by the katha and the kirtan of a Rasik Vaishnava, it comes like milk. Nourishing a baby, then the baby becomes strong. So here Vittalacharya is saying, oh, if I could just have a little bit of Radhika's mercy, all my obstacles would go. And everything that could possibly achieved on the path of Vaidhi and Raganuga Bhakti will come to me. Yadi Vadati Chakim. And if Radharani would just speak a few words to me, Smarahas Udita Sri, and then when she speaks with a smile, then I'll see her beautiful rows of teeth shining like pearls. And when I see the beautiful teeth of Radhika as she speaks to me with a smiling face, then I'll think, what's the use of mukti? Completely bogus. Very beautiful prayer. And in the next verse of this prayer, he said, Shama Sunda Shikanda Sheka Smaraha Surali Manohara Radhika Rasika Mama Kripanide So Priyachana Kinkarim Kuru. Hey Shama Sunda Krishna, oh, you are decorated with the crown of peacock feathers. Smaraha Smurali Manohara, with a smiling face you play on your enchanting flute. Radhika Rasikama, you are the Rasik, expert in tasting the mellows of Radhika's love. Mam Kripanidhe, oh, be merciful to me, you are an ocean of mercy. Swaprina Charana Kinkarim Kuru, make me the maidservant of your dearest one. How is it possible that Vittalacharya has written such a prayer like Rupa Goswami? Praying to be the Kinkori of Radhika. Actually today in the Vallabh Sampradaya they say that Vittalacharya is the incarnation of Chandravali. So from our perception, Chandravali cannot pray to be the Kinkori of Radhika. So, it's to Krishna. Oh, that Guru is the Priya. Radhika Rasikama. The first verse is to Radhika, the second verse Radhika Rasikama. Like that. If you look at the context, it's very Radha. Samvidai Tunam Vibo Prate Braja Mahendra Nandana Astu Mahana Tarati Vallabha Jammani Madheshwari Priya. May Radhika be my Ishwari life after life. So here we know that in Manah-siksa, Raghunath Swami is saying, have love for the Vaishnavas and other Sampradayas. So Raghunath Das Goswami had so much love for Vittalacharya, the son of Vallabha. In Bhakti Ratnaka, it is said, Sri Vallabha Putra Vitthalanatha Shuni Dui Chikit Saka Loya Oyala Apani. Raghunath Das Goswami became very sick. And at that time, Vallabhaputra Vitthalanath, the son of Vallabhacharya, Dui Chikitsaka Ayala Apani, he personally found 2 doctors and he brought those 2 doctors to Raghunath Das Goswami. So from this we know that Vittalacharya was engaged in the service of Raghunath Das Goswami because he brought 2 doctors to him. And the doctors, the Ayurvedic doctors, they checked him. And Raghunath Das Goswami had not eaten for a long time, and the Ayurvedic doctor said, oh, he's suffering from a digestive disorder from overeating preparations cooked with ghee. So because internally in his Swarup, he was taking so much Mahaprasad of the divine couple, which was very rich. So he got indigestion, and by the Achintya Shakti it manifested in his sadhuk form, though he was eating nothing. So this here it shows some loving relation between Raghunath Das Goswami and Vitalacarya. Vitthalanatha, yes. So once it happened that there was some fear that Muslims were coming to Govardhan, and they thought, because they used to come and smash the deities, so they thought they might come to attack Gopal. So the devotees in the line of Vallabhacharya, they took Gopal down and kept him in the house of Vitthalanatha in Mathura. So this was a great opportunity, because Gaudiyas could not have the darshan because they can't walk on Govardhan hill. So it's said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and the very old at that time Lokanath Das Goswami. 5 of the great Goswamis in our line all went and lived in Vitthalanatha's house for 1 month in Mathura. And all together they did kirtan, and they witnessed how Vitalacarya was serving Srinathji. So then after that, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami has written a poem. It's called Sri Gopal Raj Stotra. The king of poems glorifying Gopal, or the poem glorifying Gopal Raj, the king of Gopals. Both meanings are there. So, in this poem, he glorifies the pastimes of the Gopal, who has appeared due to the love of Madhavendra Puri, but also due to the love of Vallabhacharya and Vitthalanatha. Later, they are also an integral part of the pastimes of Srinathji or Gopal in this world. So here, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami in the 13th and 14th verses, not the last verse is the Falshruti, but the last 2 verses before the Falshruti, he said, Kalitavapo Eva Sri Vitala Prema Punja Parijane Paricharya Vaya Piyusha Pushta Jutibharajita Madhyan Manmatodyat Samaja Pratapati Giripate Shushtu Gopala Raja. Gopal Raj, Krishna. He is situated very beautifully upon a throne at Govardhan. He is immensely powerful. Kalita Vapur, it is as if he has assumed this form due to Vitala Prema Punja, the abundant, excessive love of Vitthalanatha. Why? Because just as when Krishna appears in this world, he doesn't come without Nanda and Yashoda and other associates. So in the same way, the Vigraha, the deity, does not appear in this world without his intimate sevakas, his intimate pujaris. So he's saying, it is as if Gopal has come in this world by the power of the love of Vitthalanatha. Jutibara Jita Madhyan Manmatodyat Samaja, and the beauty of Gopal, it defeats a whole samaj, a whole host of cupids. Parijana Paricharya Vaya Piyusha Pushta, and Gopal himself feels nourished by the nectar of the Paricharya Seva of Vitthalanatha. So it's very interesting, because in our line, mainly our archan is according to Vidhi, and that will gradually turn into Seva in Ragamarg. But in the line of Vallabhacharya, their archan follows the Nitya-lila of the Lord in different seasons of the year. So when it's cold, it's part of their puja, they have to put a charcoal burner in front of it.
the deities to keep him warm.
Cute.
At lunchtime they have to bring a chaupa board, like a chess game with Radha Krishna. They do gambling, so they have all of these different types of service, personal services to the form of the Lord. At different times of the year, and songs which have to be sung. So their calendar is always, their schedule is always changing. There's a lot of emphasis on the service to the deity in this sampradaya. So he's saying, Parijana Paricharya Varya Priyosha Pushta. Gopal himself feels nourished by the nectar of the Paricharya Seva, the personal services of Vitthalanatha. When I was in Gokul, I went with Shamdas. Shamdas was living in the house of Vitthalanatha in Gokul. And he took us to his Vitthalanatha's Bhajan Kutir, which is in a cave under the ground there. And nearby there was a shop that's been there for hundreds of years, where they make from silver all different types of toys and paraphernalia that in that sampradaya they offer to the deities from silver. So I went to that shop and I saw that it was like a day or two before Makara Sankranti. And I saw there a kite and spindle. You know a spindle? Just a kite is one of these things that flies in the sky, and the spindle, it has two handles here and a bit that spins in the middle for the string. So when the kite is pulling, it can pull string, or you can wind it back in again. So there's a very beautiful kite and spindle there. And so I thought, I want for my Thakurji. So I got this because in the temple of Govindaji, in Arupa Goswami's Govindaji, if you go to Jaipur, to Govindaji, on Makara Sankranti, Radha Krishna, they have kites and spindles. Because it's a special day when Radha Krishna do kite pastimes. My Gurudev said that, because actually in Jaipur on that day, they have a kite flying competition. And the sky is just full of thousands of kites everywhere. And one can say, well, how do you have a kite flying competition? What do? You have a race, or what do you do? So what they do is they cover the string of the kite in powdered glass. They cover the string of the kite in powdered glass. Huh? And so the art is to fly your kite in such a way that you cut the string of the other person's kite. And so they're all flying, and it's the last one left in the sky. Who is the winner? So when I was in Jaipur with my Gurudev, he said, yes, Radha Krishna, they do kite lila, and Radharani cuts the string of Krishna's kite and defeats him. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. So Radhika is very expert in all arts, including she knows how to defeat Krishna in kite flying. So, I experienced in my life by associating with Shamdas. He was a very wonderful Vaishnava of the Vallabh Sampradaya. How my devotion in my own life was enhanced and inspired. And in his testimony he also said that he was also felt very inspired. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he's saying, Guru Goste Gostai Sujane, because he experienced how he was inspired by the association of Vitthalanatha in the Vallabh Sampradaya. But I never felt it, I never understood it till I had this experience in my own life. But the first verse of Raghunath Das Goswami's Manah-siksa, this is the entrance, how to enter into Ragamarg. So you must have such experience in your life if you want to enter into Ragamarg. When you go to Braj Mandal, this place is a special and mystical place. Everything there is going on. If someone is sincere in serving their Gurudev by the arrangement of Jogamaya. And one should not be very narrow-minded, but associate with Vaishnavas even of the other Sampradayas. And you'll find great love and inspiration from this. So then in the next verse, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, Vivida bhajana pushpa ishtanamani grinan Pulakita tanohiya Shri Vitalacarya Sakhe
Panayamanisaram swam hanta tasmai dadana Pratapati giripate shushtu Gopal Raja. Oh, Gopal Raj, he looks so beautiful, situated upon a throne atop Giraj Govardhan hill. He's very powerful. And he's accepting the flowers of different types of bhajan of Vittalacarya. What is that? His puja, his Ishtanama Anigrinan, his chanting of the holy names, his singing of kirtan, with so much sakya. That does not mean here friendship in sakyaras. There are different types of gopis have Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranay, and Pranay has two aspects, Maitri Pranay and Sakya Pranay. So, with the very intimate love of a gopi, Vitalacarya is doing kirtan and worshipping Gopal with the flowers of different angas of bhajan. And Raghunatha Swami is saying, I have seen it with my own eyes. Pulakita tanu hiyaha, which means that Gopal has sattvic bhavs when he accepts the offerings of Vittala. We have heard of some devotee doing bhajan and they have some sattvic bhav. But here Raghunatha Swami is saying the deity of Gopal is in such ecstasy. When Vitthalanatha is saying Gopal has sattvic bhavs. And he becomes so ecstatic that he gives to Vitthalanatha one thread of jewels, or garland of jewels. This is the garland of jewels of so many realization of loving pastimes, Nitya Leelas. So here we see how, though Vittalacarya is in another sampradaya, Raghunatha is writing poems glorifying him and his love for Srinathji.
The name of the poem?
Gopal Raj Stotra
Gopal Raj.
from Stavavali of Raghunath Das Goswami. So I want to sing one Braj Bas Kirtan from a disciple of Vitthalanath.
I heard that Vitthalanath was became a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit. Is it correct?
Vallabhacharya became disciple of Gadadhar Pandit. It's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So they don't accept in their sampradaya, but from our point of view we can, if you have Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami and Lokanath Das Goswami living in your house for a month, you can imagine how Vitthalanath had some influence, some Gaudiya inspiration from the Gaudiya line in his life. Can you imagine? They are all living a different night under a different tree, but to be next to Gopal, they all came in his house in Mathura. So, in the Vallabh Sampradaya, there are 8 poets who have composed many songs, they are called Astachap poets. Astachap poets. So 4 of them are the direct disciples of Vallabhacharya. That is Kumbhandas, Surdas, Paramananda and Krishnadas.
The famous Surdas?
Yes, the famous Surdas, yes. They are the direct disciples of Vallabhacharya. And then when his son Vitthalanath became the Acharya, the other 4 Astachap poets are his disciples. They are Govinda Swami, Chit Swami, Nandan Das and Chatubhuj Das. So we will sing now one poem of Chatubhuj Das. So also Rasa Khan was a disciple of Vittalacharya. So he's probably the most famous of all the British poets. He was a Muslim, but he became charmed by the sweetness of Krishna. And he wanted to see Gopal, but Gopal would not give him darshan or accept his service unless he received the Brahma Sambandha mantra from Vitthalanath. So this history is there to show us that Krishna accepts us when we become the servant of his servant, otherwise not. So this is a very beautiful song of separation. So in their line, they don't chant japa in front of the deity, and they're not allowed to sing songs of separation in front of the deity. Because as an outgrowth of their siddhanta of Shuddha Dvaita. Shuddha Dvaita means every Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, everything is God, and God is here now, and His Leela is going on right now. Only due to ignorance we don't understand it. So when they come in front of the deity, Krishna is there, why chant japa? Serve Him. Krishna is there, don't sing any songs of separation. But our sampradaya is, the Vedanta is Achincha Veda Veda Tattva. So we can see, oh, Krishna is here in the form of the deity. But inconceivably, this is his Archa Vigraha form, through which he gives mercy. But he is Nitya Lila. This is the Mantramaya Upasana, Pit, Yoga Pit. But I am not experiencing this, the Swarasaki, the Nitya Lila. They don't think that you should have a desire to go to the spiritual sky where you go into the Nitya Lila. Every Lila is happening right here. Just be here and serve now. And so their archan to the deity is following Nitya Lila. Whereas ours is more of an archan to enter into the Mantrapasana Maya Lila pit. And then when that realization awakens, then it turns into the Astakaliya Lila. So it's a different way of relating with the deity. So they will not sing this song in front of the deity. So, also, because our philosophy is Achincha Veda Veda Tattva, we give equal status to Radhika, who's inconceivably one with and different from Krishna. And so we give an equal status to Radhika. And aspire to holding Radhika in the highest esteem. We aspire to be her maidservants. Whereas in their line, no one has the exact equal status as Krishna. And gopis are not in different groups, they're all together in one group. Whereas in our upasana, there are group leaders, and each group leader has a different mood, and she's surrounded by sakis who have a similar mood to her. And the groups are all competing with each other for Krishna's attention. So it's a different, completely different prakash. Our aim and object of life is a different prakash, a different dimension of lila. And they aspire to become sakis and nayikas, to become the direct beloveds of Krishna. Whereas our aspiration is to become dasya of Radhika. So there's some specialities in mood, but still by association with Vaishnavas, though they're of other sampradayas, one thing we can collect some sweetness, whatever sweetness is there we can collect, and also the differences highlight the glories of each sampradaya as well, by comparison.
They are not in the mood also that Krishna is their child, but Saryabhava.
Mainly not. This is only hiding. This is hiding. Those who go deeply into the sampradaya, they're not all the devotees, but all the acharyas, the main acharyas. The main acharyas are in Bhakti. He's singing.
So, he's singing to Srinathji. He's saying, "Oh Govardhan Vasi, you live at Govardhan. Savare Lal means very fair, charming boy." This is in Braja Bhasha. Tuma binarayo naja, I cannot live without you. Brajaraja ladete lari leela. Oh, very beautiful, lovely son of Brajaraj, the king of Braj. Tuma binarayo naja, I cannot live without you. Banka, banka, chite musa, kaya kelala, sundara madanadika, lochana halafei, mina cholala, halachina. Shri Govardhana Vasi Sabarila Tumabina Rayo Naja Bankachite. When you glance, not directly, like this, sideways. When you glance with your crooked glance, and you smile sweetly, oh loud, Sundara Badana Dikai, and you show your beautiful face, then what happens? Oh, Lochana Talafe Meena Jolao, my eyes become like a fish out of water. Can you imagine? When you take a fish out of water, it's just flapping like this in complete anxiety. So from the point of view of Gopi Bhav, she is saying, oh, from the first time I saw you, you glanced at me and smiled. Then my eyes became like fish in anxiety to always behold your beauty. Oh Govardhan Vasi, Savri Lal, I cannot live without you. Saptaka Swara Bandana Solala Mohana Venu Bajai Surata Suhai Bandi Keneka Madure Shri Govardhana Vasi Sabarila Tumabina Rayo Raja Saptaka Swarabandana Sula Mohana Venu Bajai. When you play upon your flute, which is so enchanting, using all the 7 notes in the octave, Surata Suhai, in the most beautiful way, you bind together your Aroha and Avaroha. You know, in Raga, you play the notes in sequence going up, Aroha and Avaroha. But on the way up, there are certain notes which are Varjita, forbidden. And on the way down, different notes. So it's different from the Western music. And Krishna's playing in such a beautiful way. Madhure, Madhure Gai. So sweet. When will I hear your spontaneous loving composition of flute singing? Oh Govardhan Vasi. You play atop of Giraj Govardhan, beautiful son of Nanda Maharaj. I cannot live without you.
Govardhan Vasi is singular, Krishna.
Yes. Ra Rasika Rasili Bola Nilala Girichara Gaya Bula Ganga Bulai Dumari Neka Unchi Tera Sunai Sri Govardhana Basi Sabarela Tumabina Rayo Rasika Rasili. You are Rasik and you are also full of rasa. And when you climb up Girichara Gaya Bulai, you go onto the top of Govardhan to call your cows. Then you play on your flute. And by your flute you call Ganga Bulai Dumari. Oh Ganga, one cow is called Ganga. Dumari. Ganga is the white. Dumari is like small, greyish. You call your cows and you play in a very high-pitched, beautiful tune, calling your cows. But really, Krishna's intention is not to call the cows. Really, it is to attract the hearts of gopis. Because he's Rasika Rasili Balanila. It looks like he's calling his cows, but really he's calling the gopis. Dristi Parija Divasa Teilala Abate Ruchi Naha Rajani Anita Ana Avahimovi Visayo Bojanapa Sri Govardhana Basi Sabarela Tumabina Raho Najay. Oh Govardhan Vasi Krishna, I cannot live without you. Trishti Parijari Vasachelal. Oh, when I see you, then from the day I saw you, then I lost interest in everything. Ruchina An, I have no taste is coming to me in anything since the moment I saw you. Rajani Nida na Avahimoi, and at night I cannot sleep. Nidra Devi is not coming to me. Visadhu Bhojanapan, and even I have stopped eating and drinking. Oh Govardhan Vasi, oh Braja Raja Lareti, beautiful son of Nanda Maharaj. Tuma Bina Rahyo Najai. I cannot live without you. Darashana ko nayana tapela Vachana sunana ko ka Milivai ko hiyara tapei mere Jiya ke jivana pran Sri Govardhana Basi Sabarela Tumabina Rahoyo Najayo Braja Raja Larete Lari Leela Tumabina Rayo Najayo. Oh, Lardi Lal, beautiful son of Nanda Maharaj, my eyes are burning to see you. My ears are burning to hear the sound of your voice. My heart is burning to meet with you. Oh, Jiyaki Jivana Pran, you are the life of my life. Hey Govardhan Vasi, I cannot live without you. Purana Sashimukha Deka Kelala Chitta Chotyo Bahito Rupa Sudhadasa Dhana Kelala Sadara Kumuda Chaku Sri Govardhana Vasi Sabarila Tumabina Rayo Najayo. When you show me your face, which is shining like the full moon, then, oh, my heart is torn to pieces. And I feel separation from you. And I yearn. How? Like a kumud. That is the night blooming lotus flower. It only blossoms when the moon, it sees the moon and is touched by the rays of the moon. Or like a chakora. The chakora bird is crying out to receive the chandrika, the rays of the moon. So, Rupasudha Rasapan Kelao Sadara, I drink the nectar of your beauty, oh, with great adar, with the greatest respect, just like the kumud and the chakura. Mana abilasa vahira hilala lagata nayana nameka ikata kadeku avate pyaro anagara natabara beka Shri Govardhana Vasi Savarila Tumapina Rayo Najayo Brajaraja Larete Narilela Tumapina Rayo Najayo. My heart simply desires to behold your beauty with unblinking eyes. To see you when you return in the evening. When you return from the forest in the evening, then I want to behold you with unblinking eyes. Pyaro, oh my beloved, Nagara, my hero, Natavara Beg, who is dressed like Natavara. So, when there's a drama, before the drama begins, then Natavara comes on the stage. That means there's a young hero decorating the most charming way. And he begins to dance. And this collects the attention. That's all the audience is sitting when will it begin. Then when Natavara comes, then everyone is attracted. And all eyes go to him, and then after that, then the drama begins. So that is called Natavara. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Vahapidam Natavara Vapuhu Kanayoganika. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 21, Text 5. Very famous. This verse is the best verse of the whole Srimad Bhagavatam for Rupa Smarana, to meditate on the beauty of Krishna. So there it said that Krishna is a Natavara, Vapu. His body is like a Natavara. So Vishnu Thakur said, it does not mean he's like a Natavara, actor on the stage. Because that would be minimizing Krishna, because Krishna is not like anyone, he's more than everyone. So Natavara Vapu means that each part of his body is like a Natavara. His eyes are dancing like a Natavara. His fingers are dancing on the flute like Natavara. His curling hair is dancing on his face like Natavara. The garland around his neck is swinging and attracting the attention of everyone like Natavara. Like this. His pitambar is also moving. So every part of him is a Natavara. This is commentary of Srila Vishwanath Thakur. But our Vallabhacharya, he gave another explanation of Natavara which is so beautiful. Vara means beloved. It can even mean husband. So it means your hero is called Vara. And Nata means an actor. So when you see an actor on the stage, you can see the actor, but he belongs to another world. Understand? You can't touch him. He belongs to another world. In drama they call that, if an actor on the stage is in a role and then suddenly he talks to someone in the audience, in drama this is called breaking the fourth wall. Breaking the fourth wall. Because the stage has a back wall and two side walls. But the front has a wall which is only the consciousness of the audience. Right? Because one world is on the stage and the audience in another world, but they're becoming absorbed in that. So if someone on the stage will speak to someone in the audience, and sometimes it's used as a dramatic technique, it's called breaking the fourth wall in drama. So generally there's an invisible wall. The front wall of the stage is an invisible wall. And what is going on the stage, that is one world and the audience in another world. And they cannot touch. They're not allowed to touch. And therefore, when gopis call Krishna Natavara, then they have a feeling which only comes in the parakya mood. And that is that Krishna is coming now. I can see him. But he's Nata, I cannot touch. There's a wall between us. There's a wall of Maryada, Dharma, and Lokalaja, and all these things. So this name of Krishna, Natavara, Sri Radhavalabha Vrindavana Natavara, is the combination of the nectar and the poison of meeting and separation. Nata is the poison of separation, and Vara is the feeling of meeting. So Krishna's Natavara means on the one hand, he's there, but I am in separation because I cannot touch him. He's beyond my reach. He's the son of Nanda Maharaj. He's not my husband. But in my heart he's Vara. Radharani calls Krishna, speaks to the bumblebee, calls Krishna Aryaputra. So Aryaputra is the address that a wife calls her husband, because a wife never says the husband's name directly. She calls her husband Aryaputra. So in the last verse of Brahma Gita, Radharani said, Api Bhati Madhavendra Aryaputra Adunaste. Oh, now Aryaputra, Krishna has come back from the Gurukul to Mathura, come back to Madhupuri. So Api Bhati Madhavendra Aryaputra Adunaste. So though they are not married, but still there's a feeling. He's my husband. Only by the laws of love, not actually. So he's Vara. And he's Nata. He's Nata Vara. And so there's meeting and separation together in this name. So here Chaturabhuj Das is saying, oh, my only desire is when you return from taking the cows to graze in the evening, that I will be able to stare at you with unblinking eyes as you are coming. And that time you are Natavara. So near, yet so far untouchable. Lokala jakula veda kilala chajo shakala viveka kamala kali ravi joba
Chajo Shokola Vivek. Now I have given up all discrimination. I have given up all shame, all shyness, all fear of my losing the Kula Gaurav. This is very important in Gopi's Bhav, Kula Gaurav. It means that in Vedic society, every person, every step that they take in their life, every decision that they make is guided and informed by Kula Gaurav, the pride of their dynasty and their ancestors. Because every dynasty, every family has a reputation. And if you're from a high-class family, then the reputation it has taken your ancestors generations to build up. That responsibility is on the head of the current generation. So they must uphold the Gaurav of their Kula, the dignity of their dynasty. So for Gopis, there's intense pressure on Gopis to have nothing to do with Krishna. But when the Samartha Rati comes in Mahabhav, this Parakiya Bhav is so powerful, it makes one become, it gives Vismriti, complete forgetfulness of all Kula Gaurav. All Kula Gaurav disappears on the appearance of that Mahabhav in Samartha Rati. So here she's saying, Loka Lajya Kula Veda, all the rules of the Vedas, all Dharma, the dignity of my dynasty and my shyness and fear of the people of the world. Now I have given up everything and all discrimination. Only I want Kamala Kali Ravi Jobai, just as a lotus flower grows and blooms in the sun, that my Priti Vishesh, my intense love for you should just increase unlimitedly. It should not be blocked by any of these things. This is why the love of gopis increases unlimitedly, because it is not circumscribed by any maryada. Whereas the love of queens in Dwarka is maryada adhin. In fact, if someone will follow Raganuga Bhakti, but it will be mixed with Vaidhi Bhakti, they will have faith also in Vaidhi Bhakti, they have to become a maidservant of the queens of Dwarka, because they want a romantic relation with Krishna. However, they still have put stress on maryada, and so they end up with the Madhurya mood, which is maryada adhin. Rupa Goswami has explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So now in this part of the song, the bhav, the separation, has come into a very high and intense state. Actually, I am giving some commentaries which are from our Gaudiya perspective, according to the Rasa Tattva of Rupa Goswami. That's right. And how they will say is different. Even this verse could be taken from a sadhak point of view, you know, like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, oh, when will I wander here and there on the bank of the Ganges, singing and dancing like a madman, and the people will take dust and throw on me and think he's crazy. So it could be giving up local lives and maryada of Vaidhi Bhakti and religion of the world even. I'm telling you from the Siddha perspective, from the perspective of Siddha Rupa. So then he's saying, Koti kaman mata bharane lala dekata dagamagi chala yuvati janamana fatana lala ambuja dayana vishal Sri Govardhana Vasi Sabarela Tumabina Rajo Najayo Raja Raja Larete Larile
Krishna. Dagamagi Chow. When you walk along in an energetic way, this is called Dagamagi Chow. Then at that time, you are so attractive. More than 10 million cupids are defeated by you. Yuvati Janamana Fandanila, and the hearts of all the young girls of Braja, they become completely entangled in the beauty of your Ambujana Vishal, your very expansive lotus eyes. Oh, Govardhan Vasi, I cannot live without you. Oh, beautiful son of Brajaraj, Ladila. Ladilal is also a name of Thakurji in our Sampradaya. You know, in Varsana, in the Shriji Mandir, in Varsana, the main temple, the deities there are called Ladilal. But these deities were discovered by Narayan Bhatta, who is the grand disciple of our Godada Pandit. So the deities in Varsana, they're actually our Gaudiya deities. Larila. This is Braj Bas. Larali means Radhika, lovely girl, and Lao, lovely boy. But in this song, not Larali Lao, Laralei Lao means lovely, soft, and very adorable. Larali means adorable. The adorable son of Laralei Lao. Kunja Bhavana Krida Karolala Kunja Bhavana Krida Karolala Shukanidhi Madana Gopala Shukanidhi Madana Gopala Hamashi Vrindavana Malati Duma Ogi Brahmara Bhupa Shri Govardhana Vasi Lavare Lav Tumabhina Rayo Najay. Sometimes British Basis, they feel so close to Krishna, they can give him a blessing. Kunja Bhavana Krida Karo Lao. Oh Lao, go and enjoy in the kunjas. You enjoy your secret loving pastimes in the kunjas. Yes. Sukanidhi Madana Gopal. There you are Madan Gopal, the cowherd boy, who is like Kamdev himself. And you are Sukanidhi, ocean of happiness. But one thing, Hama Sri Vrindavana Malati. I am like a soft, fair jasmine flower in the forest of Vrindavan. Tuma Bhogi Brahmara Bhupal, and you are the king of beasts. So here is a Naika Bhav. Right? Here is Naika Bhav. Naika means heroine can say, I am a Malati and you are Bhumbu. Now, enjoy your pastimes in the kunjas of Vrindavan. Like this. But those who are aspiring for Radha Dasyam, this is a different route. Huh? Yaharata lagi lari le lala jaise chata kamora prema nirabara shakoro lala navagana nanda kishore Shri Govardhana son of Nanda Maharaj, I cannot live without you. First Chaturbuj Das is saying, I am just like a helpless
jasmine flower in the forest. And you are like a mad, intoxicated bumblebee. So, Kunjabana Krida Karolao. Oh, enjoy your Kunjalila. Now, saying that, oh, I am just like Chatak bird. And who are you? You are Navagana Nanda Kishore. You are Nanda Kishore, the son of who is Navagana, like a rain cloud. So the Chikora bird is always looking with great utkanta, anxiety towards the cloud, because the Chatak bird never drinks water, only drinks water directly falling from the sky. So if it will not rain, then the Chatak bird is very thirsty. And therefore the Chatak bird is the symbol of Utkanta in bhajan. So she's saying in the Gopi Bhav, I am like a Chatak bird. I am so thirsty, with so much Utkanta. And you are the Navagana Nanda Kishore, you are like a fresh rain cloud. So Krishna, Prema Nira Varasha Karolao. Oh, just rain down the monsoon of your love upon me. So then, Chatubhuj Das, he comes out of his internal absorption as a gopi, and he sings the last verse. Yuga Yuga Avichala Rakhiye Lala. Yuga Yuga Avichala Rakhiye Lala. Jaha Sukha Shaila Nivas. Shri Govardhana Tara Rupa Pelala Bala Jai Chatubhuja Das Shri Govardhana Vasi Savarela Tumavina Prayona Jai. Now Chatubhuj Das is speaking to Gopal, that is Srinathji. Yuga Yuga Avichala Rakhiye. Oh Krishna, you are staying Yuga Yuga, age after age after age, without moving, Avichala. Where? At Govardhan. And you are the Sukha, that Govardhan is Sukha Shaila Nivas. That mountain, Shaila means mountain, that mountain is the place of great happiness. You stay there in Sri Govardhana Rupa, your eternal form of Govardhan Dari Rupa. So, Balajai, all glories to you. So then, when he comes in his sadhak form, he realizes, oh, I am just an insignificant sadhak. My life is short. We are all born, and in this moment we die. Thousands of humans and devotees are coming and going. And all the time, Krishna is standing there, yuga after yuga. He's always there, giving mercy, giving love to all the devotees, age after age. So, Guru goes day, goes darling, Sujane, Bhusugane. Have love with the Vaishnavas in other sampradayas. It will enrich your bhakti. And also break down the concept of very rigid concepts of things must be done this way. love can be expressed to Krishna in different ways. And Krishna reveals himself to all of those who love him in different ways also. So really, if you have any affection for Krishna, you will love all of his devotees, whichever sampradaya they are from. If it's actually love for Krishna. Bhusura Gane means the Brahmanas who live in the Dham. So just as Gostali Shumeti Uttam Adhikari, Sujane means Madhyam Adhikari, and Bhusura refers to Kanishta Adhikari. They're also dear to Krishna. And especially the Brahmanas who live in the Dham, they inspire us so much. And they are helping all the pilgrims who come. Traditionally the Brahmanas, they're Pandas, and they have some dynasty, some kull they're connected with, and so any family from anywhere in India would come and find the Brahmin from there who has the responsibility of being the Tirtha Purohits for their caste, and then they would take them around, and in this way the Dham and the respect of the Dham and the knowledge of the different places of the Dham, everything, this tradition is upheld. So they are also an important extension of Krishna's mercy and a part of the glory of the Dham. And if they are born there for many generations, so they have a very lokic relation to Krishna. So even they may not be high level of realizing, they may be Kanishta Adhikari, but their lokic feeling towards Krishna, by their association, it gives us something. We take something from that for our bhajan. Understand? So Guru Goste Gostali Su Sujane Bhu Suragane. I have explained the first line. So this evening we'll continue and try to explain.
They can be called Dham Guru.
They're in a lokic sense, this is true. But in a paramarthic sense, Guru is only Uttam Adhikari, those who actually established in relation with Krishna. Not We can take one or two questions.
He just asked, what are with other living entities who are not devotees?
The Dham has a covering of Maya. And those who are living in the Dham, but they are not devotees. They are not living in the Dham, they are living on the covering of the Dham. They never touch the Dham. And in Kali Yuga especially, the Dhams become more and more covered. The influence of all the Dhams becomes less and less, except for Navadvip increases. And so, it is said, Yat-tirth in Srimad Bhagavatam, Yat-tirtha buddhi shalilena kaichit janesya vigeshu saeva gokara. If you go to the holy Dham, don't just visit the places and take bath in the holy kunds and rivers. If you do this, then you are a donkey. Saeva gokara means you are an ass. But rather, when we go to a holy place, we take shelter and come in the anugatya of a pure Vaishnava who can reveal the glories of that place through the ears. The outer form of the Dham that you can see with your eyes is called Drishyaman Prakash. It is actually not really spiritual. Srila Bhaktivinoda called it, it has a quasi-spiritual nature. But he said that when you go to the Dham, don't direct your attention to the scenery, but rather give your full attention to the pure Vaishnava. And the pure Vaishnava will use the effects of the landscape to inspire bhakti into your heart. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur has written this in an article called Brajmandal Parikrama. He wrote an article called Brajmandal Parikrama. And he's speaking about in what way to understand the Dham and how to get the mercy and realize the mercy of the Dham. I know so many Western devotees that came and they met some Brijbasi who was very happy and smiling. Oh, can you just lend me until tomorrow 10,000 rupees? And then, not like this. So if you go, you can be cheated in so many ways. So don't be without proper discrimination. Brijvasi means that one who is actually absorbed in the mood of praise. Raghunath Das Goswami is telling us. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the same teaching. You know, he went there with Balabhadra Bhattacharya. And Balabhadra Bhattacharya came to Mahaprabhu and said, Mahaprabhu, Krishna is giving darshan every night at Kaliya Rag. He's doing the leela of dancing on the head of Kaliya. And Mahaprabhu was just this. He thought, oh look, this is Kanishta Adhikari. Of course he's an associate, but he's playing the role of a neophyte devotee who has not understood Bhakti Tattva, Dham Tattva, Krishna Tattva, Leela Tattva. So anyway, he went and he was there with other Brijvasis, and they're all seeing some light was dancing on the Yamuna in the middle of the night. And then later they found it was a fisherman. A boatman. It was a boatman, and he had a lantern on the end of a stick. And from far away they were thinking Krishna was doing his leela. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has manifested this pastime. So to teach, especially the Kanishta Adhikaris, don't be fooled by everything and everyone that is things which are going on in Praja. Krishna will give his darshan. When you're in the stage of bhav and prem. Otherwise it is not the Krishna. When he comes once in a day of Lord Brahma, everyone can see him. Even demons can see him. But other than that, when his lila becomes aprakat, one has to become qualified in devotion in order to have his darshan. Any other questions?
You said in the first line, dear brother, it says there to the mind, and it's very nice speaking to the mind. So I remember from Bhaktisiddhanta that he would say,
Yes, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, beat your mind every morning with a stick 100 times, and then threaten your mind. If you don't behave in the evening, I'll beat you 100 times with shoes. He has said this. This instruction is for the devotees in whom Ruchi has come. Yeah. This is the instructions for those who are entering into Raganuga Bhakti. Manah-siksa. It is for the Madhyamadikaris. So all are not Madhyamadikari, but anyway one should hear it. I remember my Gurudev. He gave me so many instructions about Mantramaya Upasana. And I said to him, who is qualified to do Mantramaya Upasana? He said, oh, in the level of Asakti. So sometimes Vaishnavas, they're giving us instruction and making an impression. So gradually when we come into that stage, we have impression how to progress. And also that a greed will come. If we'll not hear the katha, which is somewhat above our level of qualification. Not all the time, but from time to time, we should have, how will a greed come to attain that? Understand? So in the level of Vaidhi, then you should have some strictness, not with others, with yourself. So in this way we can reconcile the statement of Prabhupada Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur and the instructions of Manah-siksa. These are for Adhikar Bhed, for devotees of different Adhikar.
You mentioned lighting, can you shortly?
I cannot say shortly. I can say, but it's extensive. Maitri Pranay is coming because Sneha Man Pranay, from Grita Sneha, Maitri Pranay is coming, and from Madhu Sneha, Sakya Pranay is coming. So if you want to know the explanation, it's other than that's a short explanation, and the long one is long. You can tell. I'll work it into one of the classes this week. Okay, so now it's late. So I think no, we're a bit earlier than yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday we finished at 3. I think that now it's 2 o'clock. So we're gradually moving the evening program back on schedule. So excuse me for the very long class. I'll try to make it shorter, but I got carried away. So we'll sing one kirtan, some Mahamantra, and then devotees can deliberate on these points, digest these points. Does everyone remember the verse from yesterday?
Yes.
Sing.
Yadi Shao Pranarikite Gorangira Sane Chota Haridasa Katitake Janamane.
Very good. Anyone else? Who remembered the verse from yesterday? Oh, you were not here? Do you remember? Sing.
Yadi cha pranay rakite gaurange rasane chota haridasa kata takite.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Shiva Sari Gaur Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. Shri Brajamanda Ketramanda Gaur Mandal ki jai. Tabuna Mangal Kari Sihar Naam Sankirtan ki jai. Shri Sri Radha Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohanju ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Namaste Sri Rasa Sri Vishabhanu Nandini Shrimati Radharani ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanande. Om Vrindaye Tulasya Niyai Kesava Sacha Krishna Bhakti Padide Satyata Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhaya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo.
Jai.
Gurudev.
Jai.